Yeah, I mean, they're 4-1 despite not having a rushing touchdown, despite not having an interception. They're 4-1. They just beat the Rams. They are better than expected. They're 4-1 despite having 25 injuries. Literally 25 injuries. With not having their wide receiver 1, 2, or 3, not having their tight end. So if you get all of those guys back, they are really much more of a contender than I ever imagined. To me, their greatest need is something they're not going to trade for, which is the O-line. They need talent
Mm.
on that O-line, but that's not something you can really trade for in the middle of the season and have some plug and play. But with a pass rusher, you very much can. So I would love to see them go after somebody that can help fill the void of Nick Bosa. Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, there's Kayvon Thibodeau, there's all kind of guys, but the number one guy on the market right now is Trey Hendrickson. And I
Yeah.
mean, you could argue he's better than Bosa. He's been more productive than Bosa the last few years. He's a little older than Bosa, hasn't torn his ACL 3 times. I mean, I saw people floating on Twitter that the Niners should trade Mac Jones for Trey Hendrickson. I wouldn't do that because to me, I still think the Niners need Mac Jones. I don't know what you're going to get from Brock Purdy. I don't know how much he's going to play, how many interceptions he's going to throw, but I almost feel like the Bengals would do that trade. And I don't know if you could get Hendrickson for a 3rd-round pick and pay him and say, well, we can't afford him and Bosa. I'd say, all right, well, then trade Bosa when you have to. I would do that. And I think if the Niners had Trey Hendrickson, all of a sudden they could put pressure on the quarterback. They could intercept passes. They could go really far. They would need to figure out their running game. I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl with the worst running game in the league. Christian's a good player, but he's a much better receiver than runner at this point. And Brian Robinson Jr. isn't the answer. So if they could go get someone like Breece Hall in addition, maybe they're 2 players away, unless Jordan James is the guy, which he's
Yeah,
not.
I want to see Jordan James, man. I want to see what they got. Who was that cat they had in the preseason? Looked really good, and he's on the
Corey
Vikings
Kiner,
practice.
he's now on the
Corey Kiner.
practice squad of the Vikings.
Yeah, they should snatch him, man. Like, they
Yeah.
need some guys. That's the other thing is like we can talk about them being one player away. That's as long as Christian McCaffrey is healthy, and I know he's not doing well in the running game at all. And a lot of that has to do with the offensive line, but a lot of it's him too. But he's so important from a passing game standpoint that if you lose Christian McCaffrey, I think it would really change this whole offense. And so, we'll see maybe if they get these receivers and Kittle back, that might open things up. And I thought you had a terrific insight video the other day about keeping Tonjes involved in the offense. I think that's going to be crucial. But yeah, like this offense would look very different if you take Christian. He's the number one weapon on the team, even though he's struggling running the ball. He's still the number
He's the
one
most
weapon on the
consistent
team.
player on the team,
Yeah.
on the offense.
So
Yep.
I would like to. They need to start. Here's the thing.
PrizePicks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now.
They're not having success running the ball with Christian McCaffrey, so why not throw out another running back at the same time and see what they can do?
Yeah, do a different look, try a different personnel group, and do something different. All I know is this is a different topic, but having the fullback out there isn't helping the running game. The fullback isn't a runner. They tried to give him the ball at the 1-yard line. He lost a yard. He's never been a runner. He's a
He's a
pretty
tight
good
end.
receiver, but he only catches like maybe 2 passes a game tops. And as a blocker, he's not helping anything. So I'd like to see when Kittle comes back, I'd like to see them just use different formations more. And they are. He used to play 50% of their offensive snaps. This year is down to 35%. They could even go to 20 because if you were ranking their personnel groupings, I think 21 would be toward the bottom. I think they'd be much more dangerous with 11 personnel. If you're going to be a pass-first team, get Bourne and Robinson and Pearsall or Jennings on the field together at the same time because Jennings is a hell of a blocker. Like you could still run the ball from that, but you'd be much more dangerous. And then if you really want to get like heavy personnel, get Tonjes on the field. I think he's a much more dangerous player overall than freaking Juszczyk.
It's funny. I feel like Christian McCaffrey is really a slot receiver, and Kyle Juszczyk's really like a backup tight end. And so
Yeah.
maybe that's why the run game is struggling a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, 21 personnel could be good. It depends on your personnel that's out there. Like if you had a Christian and Jordan James, that might be more effective, right? Because then you don't know where it's coming from. CMC can pop out as a
I
receiver.
like that 21 personnel with
Yeah,
2 tailbacks.
yeah, yeah. So But to get back to the topic of the question, I do think they need a pass rusher. I love what I've seen from Huff. I think he's fantastic. But he's not the every down player that Nick Bosa is.
And he needs help. And as good as Michael Williams and Alfred Collins have been so far, they're not really what you would call pass rushers at this point in their career. To me, they have one pass rusher on their team, and it's Huff. And everything else is, I mean, Salah has to scheme it up, but when he tried to blitz against the Rams, it seemed like it would be illegal contact, defensive holding, defensive pass interference. Like that wasn't working well either.